I don't feel like I need to do any stretching. So whereas before I would have so much tension in my mid back and in my neck and in my shoulders, and be feeling like I needed to stretch out every day, and feeling like I needed a massage because I was all knotty and tight and tense and sore. And then since that first lesson that we did on the first day, which was the spinal rotation one, you know, with the legs crossed and the arms like a steeple, the tight feeling and the feeling of needing to stretch hasn't come back. And I know when I'm teaching my own classes, like all that week, after my lesson, and then when I was teaching my own Pilates and body balance, I couldn't believe how I didn't have that tight, sore feeling of feeling like I needed to stretch, and my range of motion and flexibility when I was actually teaching the Pilates and the balance was massively different. I was just like, this can't be real, you know, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Just after, you know, a few short lessons. So I sort of half expected that tight feeling in my back, in my shoulder blades, in my neck to come back, and it hasn't, not at all. And I can't believe something so simple. And you know, when I'm doing it, you know, it's very different. You don't feel like you're really doing much. It's like I'm a bit of rolling around and not really, you know, like I said in my post, you know, you're not really feeling any muscles working in the way that you would maybe feel them when you're doing Pilates or yoga. You don't feel that muscle burn, if you like, for want of a better word. And physically, you don't feel like you're doing anything, but mentally, like I've noticed how mentally tired I feel after it, because you know you're working your brain. But yeah, the difference now, like 6 weeks on, because I used to be on my foam roller every single day, trying to like stretch my back out, make it crack, you know, anything to kind of relieve that tight feeling, that sore feeling. And I don't need my foam roller anymore. I haven't needed to do any stretching, and even different parts of my body, like you know, my hamstrings, backs of my legs are usually quite tight, and they are still feeling a little bit tight, but nowhere near what they were. And you know, for example, when you're sitting in like a seated forward fold in yoga, and you know, leaning forward towards the toes, I can go so much further than I could before. And I know it's not about that, about how far you can go, but I just don't have that tightness there the same as I did. It's like those lessons didn't just affect one part of my body, they affected my whole body. Because I mean, I noticed the biggest difference in my back and my shoulders, because that's where I held the most tension. So the areas where I had the most pain and tension is where I noticed the biggest difference. But I also noticed a difference in other areas of my body that I hadn't considered were particularly tight or particularly limited. I noticed a big difference in, say, like my hips and my legs, as I've just said. So I didn't feel pain or tension in those areas, but I've noticed when I'm teaching Pilates and balance that those areas are so much more flexible and with more range and mobility as well. So it's you know, made a difference to my whole body, not just the areas that were sore and tight. When we first started doing the lessons, I was, you know, quite sort of cynical with my Pilates teacher's hat on. You know, what on earth is this? What are we doing here? I'm not really feeling anything. It seems all a bit weird. You know, I did have that sort of, you know, but by the end of a few lessons, and I remember like after those first few lessons, trying some like mobility movements that I knew I'd struggled with before, because I was so tight and so sore, and I was stood in the kitchen with Luke going, oh my God, I can do this, and I couldn't do that yesterday, and look how much further I can get, and that isn't feeling tight, and that isn't feeling sore, and absolutely like almost in disbelief. No, no, this can't be right, and almost like questioning myself. Am I imagining this? Like, is my mind playing tricks on me? Am I just imagining that there's this much difference in this short space of time, and I've just hardly done anything? And I had done a lot. My brain had done a lot, but physically, it wasn't, a hard work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, hat on of movement. You have to feel something for it to be working.
Yeah, that's how I felt. This can't be doing anything. I can't really feel anything. But
I had this when I first started. I'm a dancer. We had to feel something for our bodies to be, oh, we're training now.
It was like, oh, we just rolled around on the floor a bit, and we didn't really do anything. How could it have, made me feel this much better? I've kind of lived with this degree of pain and tension, and the Pilates, did help massively. But what I noticed was that despite my Pilates and balance and being really active and doing a lot of classes and teaching a lot of classes, despite that, if I was going through a particularly stressful period, like I have done in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of change in my life, and the pain and tension built up again, and I found myself in a lot of pain again. And I was like, oh, I feel like I've regressed 10 years, and it just feels really bad again. And I was just like, well, this is just me. This is just how I'm going to be. I'm just, that type A personality that really, I get stressed easily, and this is the place in my body where I hold it. I just hold it in my back and shoulders and my neck, and just kind of like resigned myself to the fact that that was just me. That was how it was going to be, and not really convinced that anything was going to make it better permanently. It was like I found it really hard to believe that I would ever not feel like that to some degree. That yes, there's been times in my life when it has been a lot better than others, but at its worst, I just thought, well, I just have to accept that this is what it's going to be like to some degree or other. Because I've been like this for 10 years, and I don't know what it's like anymore to not have some degree of pain and tension. And yet, I'm the Pilates teacher, and I'm in pain, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to feel better, and I was just like desperate, and that isn't the reason that I went on the course and started exploring this. That isn't the reason that I went. I didn't expect to. I just didn't expect this. That I went on the first workshop just I suppose from a teaching point of view, to see whether I could learn anything new that would add a different element to my classes, to learn some new techniques, some new movements, something that I could bring into my classes. I wasn't going to find something that was going to help me with my own pain and tension. But what came out of that in one day, is exactly, that's what happened, is that although I went there with a different intention, I came out of it feeling so much better physically, and then that has a knock-on effect on your mental and emotional health when you feel better. But I was just so bloody excited as soon as I got home that day. That was it. I was all over the internet, and I've got to look at this, and that was it. So completely sold just from those first few lessons, because it had such a dramatic impact on how I felt, and it was like that that light bulb moment where it was like, you know, holy shit, I really don't have to live a life of pain and tension. This has been the missing bit. And how incredible that it's something so simple. And there's been a massive immediate shift like that. Unreal. So that's just made me so excited that this is definitely where I want to go with my teaching. That if I felt this much difference in such a short space of time, then that can potentially help so many other people that are in a lot of pain and tension for various reasons. And that's something that I want to be able to share with my students.
Yes, because this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this method. It can help so many people, but so many people are so blind to understanding it and trying it. But once they try it, like you, they suddenly go, oh my gosh, how can something so simple help so much?
Yeah, people expect to feel like they've done something, like feel like they've had a workout or actually trained or done something.
Yeah.
And because you don't really feel that, and it is so simple and so gentle, and you are, you know, rolling around on the floor almost like a child, and just I think that was me, and on the first, you know, the first lesson, it was just like, what is this almost? You know, what are we doing here? This is just weird. This is stupid. You know, what have I put myself onto? But you know, I had to eat my words by the end of the day. It was like, okay, you know, I'm so glad I was open to it and tried it.
The back. So
I get so many students come to me and say, my doctor says, and I actually had this conversation with a lady who came to one of my classes and said, oh, I'm here because my doctor said I need to strengthen my core. No, she didn't actually say a doctor. She said, I've been told I need to strengthen my core to help my back. And the first thing I said, but I knew from the way that she was talking that that wasn't her talking. So then I said to her, that doesn't sound like that's come from you. It sounds like someone's told you that. Can I ask who's told you that? And she said, well, yeah, my doctor told me that. So she just like taken that on board because he was her doctor, and of course you trust your GP, you trust your doctor, and because that's what he'd said, she's taken that on and come to the class. And I'd said, actually, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and disagree, and potentially you need awareness before we even look at anything else. And so I explained a few things to her and went through a few sort of movements and stuff with her.
Just in our culture that you meant that's what you do, but it's just so. But so changing the whole culture around this idea of core is really what we're doing. That's just one thing that the research shows now. There's research that functional movement is going to help you more than core work.